a warm applause.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. I flew in from Ireland this morning, so I had to get up very, very early, but it's great to see so many people here at this rally today. I'm delighted to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, distinguished fellow speakers, it's an honour to be with you today at this magnificent rally in support of the Iranian people and your resistance movement, the NCRI. I bring to you the warmest greetings from many of my colleagues in the Irish Senate and the Irish broader Parliament. And I also come from my recent visit last week to Ashraf in Albania, where I had the privilege to meet many members of the Iranian opposition, your PMOI, during a 5-day conference and witness firsthand the great international support that the PMOI, NCRI and its President-elect, Madam Rajavi, enjoy across cross-party politicians, former officials and parliamentarians from all around the world, from all of the 5 continents were there, 47 different countries last week at Ashraf in Albania, from the US and Canada, Europe, the Arab and Muslim world, even Australia. The events in Ashraf were, for me, truly an informative and learning experience. I had the opportunity to visit the museum, the really interesting but really horrific and mind-changing Museum of the Iranian Martyrs built in Ashraf your home of the Iranian Resistance, to honour the sacrifices of the tens of thousands of brave Iranians in your quest for bringing freedom and democracy to your homeland in Iran. The museum documents the atrocities committed by the regime in Iran during the last 40 years to silence and annihilate the organised resistance movement led by Madam Rajavi, and we know that the regime continues to try and disrupt the activities of the NCRI. But with a full year of popular protests against the regime across Iran last year, despite brutal crackdown and mass arrest, we can clearly see that the regime's persecution of dissidents is failing. Today, the heart of your resistance for a free and democratic Iran beats on the streets of Iran, with activities of resistance units and popular councils continuing to organise and mobilise anti-regime protests going on every day, with chants including "Down with your dictator." Today I am here with you as a fellow European, to many of the Europeans here, joining you in your call on the Swedish government and the wider EU to stand with the brave Iranian people and their organised resistance movement led by Madam Rajavi. I am here to add my voice to theirs and that of other speakers, and calling on the EU to abandon its appeasement of the regime in Tehran and to adopt a firm policy that recognises and backs the rights of the Iranian people to bring about change to their brutal regime with the help of legitimate resistance, the NCRI. I am proud to be part of a cross-party effort in my parliament in this regard, supporting the Iranian people in your difficult task of establishing a free, democratic, secular republic based on the 10-point democratic platform of Madam Rajavi and the NCRI, allowing freedom of association, freedom of religion, freedom of no religion if you choose so, freedom of business to get on with their existence, and we are supportive, very supportive of that 10-point plan. I am also proud to be part of a cross-party effort in our Senate supporting the Iranian people in terms of trailblazers for a better, prosperous and successful Iran. Many of my colleagues in the Irish Parliament and I agree with Madam Rajavi, and you gathered here, that the religious dictatorship, the theocracy in Iran, is one of the greatest threats to peace and stability, not just in Iran, but in the wider Middle East region, and are a huge obstacle to a free and prosperous Iran. We fully support the call on the international community, particularly the EU, to act to end the regime and the impunity it has enjoyed for almost 4 decades with regards to its human rights violations. The EU can do this easily by recognising and condemning the brutal massacre of thousands of political prisoners in Iran in 1988 and subsequently, which is well documented as a crime against humanity, and by requesting relevant UN bodies to order an investigation and bring these perpetrators to justice. In the next step, the EU must also designate both the IRGC and the regime's Ministry of Intelligence in their entirety without delay and end its appeasement of the current regime. My colleagues and I have tabled a cross-party motion in the Irish Senate demanding actions by our government and the EU in this regard. It is necessary in order to push back against the regime's unacceptable aggression in the region and the wider world, including both at home and in the region generally, and its effects right across Europe. The targeting of pro-democracy opposition and the terrorist attacks in Europe. I take this opportunity to call on the Swedish government to join, and the Swedish Parliament to join with my Parliament to take these steps in the EU. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the people of Iran who will shape the future of Iran. We have seen that by rising up to change your country for the better and to overthrow the ruling religious dictatorship, you are here to give voice to their legitimate demands. You achieved this thanks to the strong and inspiring leadership of your President-elect, Madam Rajavi. And that is why the regime in Tehran fears your movement and conspires frequently against it. You can rest assured that many of my colleagues in the Irish Senate and I support your just cause. We will stand with the Iranian resistance and the Iranian people in your quest for human rights, democracy and justice. And I hope and know that we soon will celebrate a victory over the regime and the mullahs with you and hopefully in Tehran. Thank you. We have seen only in the last couple of days the Iranian regime in terms of its action against UK tankers. I was in Berlin a couple of weeks ago at your protest there, your rally, where there was up to 15,000 people were there. I was in Ashraf last week, and I'm here with many thousands of you today. In my parliament, 100 years ago today, or this year, we are celebrating freedom of our own in Ireland from the British regime. And people didn't see it coming, and then it happened. So we got freedom 100 years ago. I hope it will be a lot sooner coming to the people of Iran. And I wish you well, along with many politicians right across the world, including Rudy Giuliani, Joseph Lieberman, Patrick Kennedy, and many other very famous American and worldwide politicians in your quest. I hope soon we will all be in Tehran supporting the new president.